Hi, I'm Mac from P&P Engineering. Today we're going to be installing one of our modular bed racks on a 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. Right here we've got all the parts set out. You can take a look and we'll go through everything you're going to get in your box and all the hardware and tools that we need. First you're going to get a pair of bed rails that go on the rail of the bed and get bolted into the utilitarian. You're going to get 6 uprights that'll bolt to the bed rails and 3 crossbars that bolt from side to side between your uprights. Then you can order as little or as many crossbars as you want. The more crossbars that you order, the more rigid your rack will be. And if you're going to be running a rooftop tent off this bed rack, we do recommend you go with 8 crossbars so you have 4 solid mounting points up top. The tools you're going to need, a ratchet and a wrench with a 1/2 inch wrench and a 1/2 inch socket for the bolts that bolt all the crossbars together, and a 9/16 socket or wrench to bolt the 3/8 bolts into the T-nuts that'll go into the utilitarian. You will get a bag of approximately 100 5/16 bolts, 100 5/16 lock nuts, and 2 bags of 100 5/16 flat washers. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and install this rack. The first thing, you're going to pull this little piece of plastic out of the end of your bed rail and slide in your 3 T-nuts per side. You're going to get 6 stainless steel T-nuts and put it 3 in each side of your bed rail. Then you're going to bring over your left and right bed rails and bolt them to your T-nuts. You can see our bed rails are notched so that these can be installed without removing the factory bed rails with the pins for the trifold cover. All you've got to do is remove your factory cover and bolt our bed rack right on. So you're going to grab your 3/8 bolts, 9/16 wrench or socket, and install those into the T-nuts in the track behind the bed rail. You can do that for all 3 spaces all the way up with the same wrench and bolts. Now that all 3 bolts are installed loosely, we're going to align the front of our bed rail with the inside of the front of the bed of the truck and tighten all 3 bolts down. And then we'll go do the same thing on the other side. Now that the passenger side is finished up, we're going to go and install our uprights. For the uprights, in addition to the uprights, you'll need a 1/2 inch wrench and socket and your 5/16 bolts, washers, and nuts. Your uprights will slide right over the pilots on the bed rail. Install a washer on each side and then a lock nut on the inside. I like to start with a bolt in the back so that these don't pivot on bolts on the side and they can't go very far. At this stage, you'll just start the bolts, leave them loose, That'll help us assemble all the rest of the other parts. Okay, now that all 6 bolts are in, we're going to do the exact same thing to the other 5 uprights. Now that we've got all 6 uprights installed, we're going to install the horizontal cross members. These will socket over the pilots on both sides, and you'll need 4 more of your 5/16 bolts per side. We'll leave all these bolts loose as well until all of our cross members are installed. Now that our horizontal cross members are bolted in loosely, we're going to move on to installing our crossbars. This kit gets 6 crossbars, which will be 1 in each position on both sides and 1 on top. The crossbars go in with 2 5/16 bolts on each side. Our rack is made so that the crossbars can be height adjustable for different accessories, as well as mounting your crossbar facing in or out, depending on whether you'd like to mount your accessories facing out or into the bed, and also come with a specially designed washer to fit behind the big slots in the crossbars and the uprights, so you can mount almost any accessory that's available on the market today. Okay, we've got 3 slots across the top, 3 positions to put crossbars, depending on how many and what type of accessories you want to mount. As we said earlier, if you're going to mount a rooftop tent, we suggest at least 8 total crossbars, which will give you 2 in each position, front and rear. This rack is going to get a total of 6 crossbars with only 1 on the top, so we're going to go in the center position, and that's going to bolt on exactly the same as the rest of our crossbars with 2 bolts at each side. Now that we've got all our pieces assembled, we're going to go back through and tighten all our bolts down after we align our parts and set our crossbars to where we're going to want them. We're going to use an impact because we've got 86 bolts on this assembly. You'll have a few more if you've got more crossbars, but you can also use a ratchet, and you'll need a wrench to hold the nuts on the back side.